note for the record that everybody's here with the exception of Mr. Rook, who has an excused absence. First item of business, as it usually is, are the approval of the minutes. There are 3 sets of minutes tonight. The first minutes to be approved would be the second meeting of the month, the October the 19th meeting. Anybody have any additions, corrections? The correction that I found was on page 2, under the discussion items. Mr. Gratz reported that a school representative reached out to explore. The word, I believe, should be a joint activity, not any joint activities. And that's the only correction that I made. Are there any others? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as amended. Ms. Jordan, Mr. Trable, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next item is the Committee of the Whole, approval of the minutes of the Committee of the Whole budget session of October the 26th. Are there any additions, corrections? Again, the one I found, the only one I found, was in the first line. It should be the council met as a Committee of the Whole to make the grammar work.
I do have a correction. I was not in attendance at that meeting, so I should be struck from the first sentence as well.
Johnson was not there. Are there any others? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the budget meeting of October 26th as amended.
So moved.
Ms. Jordan, is there a second? Mr. Trable, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
I abstain.
You have 2 abstentions. Finally, we have the Committee of the Whole budget discussion on budget meeting on November the 2nd. Before I state mine, anybody have any additions or corrections? Hearing none, the only ones that I found, the C in committee and the W in whole should be capitalized because it's a proper noun. It's minor, but I think it should be done. Are there any others? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes as amended. Is that Ms. Johnson, is there a second? Mr. Trable, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay, now we're going to get into privilege of the floor. I noticed a great number of people here, which is very refreshing, because the last few meetings there have been nobody here, except my wife and the people that have to be here. I know you're all here to talk about the pool. We're going to discuss the pool, the short-term future of the pool, and perhaps the long-term future of the pool tonight. I would ask for a singular spokesperson to address council. If anybody else wishes to add something that the spokesperson did not add, or something new, we'll certainly listen to him or her. I don't want the same 27 people to say the same thing and take all three minutes doing it. So, Mr. Zofko, do you want to speak on behalf of your committee?
Yes, thank you.
Your coalition?
Coalition. I could agree, Mike, to be honest with that, probably. Is the green light on? I don't see anything. The green light is on. Thank you very much. My name is Michael Zofko. I live at 507 Green Court. Now, Bill, I'm here to talk on behalf of the pool, mainly give an update and also to make some requests to let you know where we are on things, and maybe we can work together to get some other things done. Some updates. First off, we knew that 2 of the major issues at the pool had to do with lifeguards, and they also had to do with the caulking situation for the pool deck. I'm happy to report that we have solicited 4 people, okay, to take lifeguard training. These are adult people, senior adults, that were going to get trained. 2 of them are enthusiastic, 2 are lukewarm and doing it at the pool with guns, but they're doing it, okay? We also intend to go to the school districts, and we have contacts there now to entice people to take the lifeguard training and also talking with your recreation department and future talks with them to see what kind of incentives they would make available, which I would think would be no different than what you probably did in the past, okay? So those are things we want to talk about, we want to get the details. So, I think we're gonna have an answer for you for the lifeguards, okay, for the next summer. The caulking, which was the second piece, has to do with the caulking of the deck. There are indeed some major separations of the deck pieces, and they are, and that's not in doubt. We heard some numbers tossed around as far as what it would cost to do this. About 2 weeks ago, I called Eric and said, you know, the coalition and some of its members would be happy to take on the job of fixing the caulking. Now, this is not plumbing. I don't think you need to be certified in caulking to do this. I think we could learn it, we could do it, and we can get the manpower, and we could also get the materials to help that. So, what Eric came back with after discussions with the attorneys is there's problems. Problems have to do with insurance, and what if somebody falls in the pool, and what if this happens and that happens. I'd like to suggest to you an alternative. We would, members of our coalition and myself, would like to volunteer ourselves to become part-time employees of the Borough of Fountain Hill at a day rate of $1. We would like to be covered by the pool insurance and comprehensive. Since we are part-time employees, we would be not a part of a collective bargaining unit nor do any benefits, okay? We would work as we would need to. We would work under the direction of the Public Works Manager. We would use the materials suggested by the Borough Engineer and also approved by the Public Works Manager and the Council. And we would set a schedule and we would come in, quite frankly, after the weather broke, after the winter, and we would do whatever we needed to do to get the pool done. We would envision that to be a savings of, I think the number was $25,000 to $30,000 to do that. So that's a suggestion I'll have open to you. So you do indeed hire part-time people. You will be hiring people in the borough. And hopefully we'll be able to save you a significant amount of money by doing this, and therefore getting the pool ready for a May, June opening. That should address some of the insurance problems. I guess the solicitor would have to come into that, but employees. So I'll let that for, so you guys can chew on that. And frankly, at this point, it seems like we need another solution, if that's not acceptable, of how we can save you $25,000 to $30,000. I mean, it is the only acceptable thing to write you a check. I'm not so sure we have the money to do that. So that's something for you to deliberate, and if you can, think about it and report back to me, please, if that's acceptable, and we'll line up the help we need to. The training would be essentially whatever you thought it would need to be, and the materials, whatever you suggested it need to be as well. Donations and outside interests. I have to report that we have found a donor that is going to contribute a significant amount of money to us, but I can't release the name, and that will be probably in the January timeframe. That is not necessarily for the pool, but it will be for other community events. Obviously, there's only a few of us that are funding the coalition right now. We have not yet have a website up. We do not have a donate button. We intend to have that as quickly as possible. And truly, we're working on that almost daily. So we intend to do a capital campaign as well. So one of the things that's also occurring like this, that donor is not from the Borough of Fountain Hill. That donor is from Salisbury. We have interest in our coalition in that we spread the culture and whatever we're doing, not only from Fountain Hill, but into East Salisbury. I've been asked to talk to a number of organizations, for people that would like to be with us. The coalition is not political. It's not, there's no boundary, okay? We focused it on Fountain Hill, and it still is focused on Fountain Hill, but we have some really valuable neighbors that are interested in what we're doing in Salisbury, and I think we'd like to so you know, in full disclosure, that this is going beyond the borders of Fountain Hill. Surprisingly, I'm sort of, I said this, I'm sort of shocked that I'd like to make a contribution to an entity in the political structure of the borough of Fountain Hill. But they seem to be more concerned about their name and about helping the kids. So, hopefully with that, we gave you some positive information concerning the pool. With the staffing and with maybe how we can help make some of the repairs so the pool will be acceptable. Another thing we've been doing is our group has been soliciting a program for things that will happen at the pool on a week-by-week basis, 7-day-a-week schedule. Now, these activities have people who will be able to train or monitor these activities. They include aqua fitness. I have to use my spectacles to read some of this fine print. Aqua fitness for 60 plus. Boot camp, yoga deck training, kids fitness, circuit sessions, which essentially is a lot of stations where people do different exercises for all different ages, Tai Chi, kickboxing, and swimming lessons 5 days a week, and also using the pool for parties on a Saturday and Sunday. These, of course, are all at the pleasure and the approval of the Recreation Department and Council. But at this point in time, we have the programming and we have the personnel to handle that kind of training. We would see this training as something that would be charged. It would be done by people who are certified to do it. We don't know what the needs would be as far as insurances or certifications that would be necessary for the borough. I don't know if it's certified to do it. I don't know if it's certified as circuit training. So these are things that are available to the borough. Again, our comments were, and have been from the beginning, if the pool acts in its program like the Fountain Pool was in the 1970s, forget it. Okay, close it, plenty of meetings. Okay, no one's going to come. But if we put programs in place in the mornings and maybe late evenings, we can attract other people above and beyond what the cost would be for a pass. Okay, how this would work with the pass is something you would determine, and hopefully we would have to do. Okay. Other things that are necessary. We feel that the coalition is much more than just a pool. The pool is a short-term goal for us. The appearance and the livability of Fountain Hill is also a very important piece of what we need to have. Okay? To that, we know that we've done the soaking, we know that we've done the cleanups and those kinds of things. One of the things we've also noticed is one building in particular has a significant amount of graffiti on it. Okay? We made that complaint. I talked to Eric, and he gave us the name of the person who owns the building. The coalition made an offer to paint over the graffiti free of charge. We would do it. Don't you clean it up, we'll clean it up. Okay? It looks absolutely terrible, it's atrocious, and it's something that attracts additional graffiti. So we're willing to do it, okay? But we're getting no response from the owner. What we would like to do is we would like to know which ordinances would be in violation for graffiti. And if that's the case, our policy is going to be, let's try to fix it together. And if you don't, maybe we're going to push it really hard, okay, as far as the citation would be concerned. And we would follow up on it. The offer still stands to the man who owns the property. We should take us up on it, but if not, we want this taken care of. Okay, either by him or by us. I think that's a fair compromise. One of the things that has also happened is, as I walk through the borough and as people talk to me, and I don't do a lot of walking through the borough that way, I get a lot of feedback and input. Okay, and two things have come literally to the forefront that I want to make you aware of. that is the utilization of the immense amount of property that we have that literally isn't being used. Okay, the pool, for example, is a large piece of property, hasn't been used last year, the year before was used for 1 month, okay? And there's other pieces of property, even a piece of property above the pool. Now, I don't know what we want to do with that, but we have some committees that do have ideas. One of those ideas has to do with our garden society, okay, which was formed. We had a really large vocal group of people talking about that. They want to plant flowers, they want to make the borough beautiful. But what they also would like to do is they'd also like to take advantage of maybe property the borough has to do garden plots. 20 square feet, where they can grow their tomatoes and their beans, and they can distribute them or keep them. There are places in this borough that would be a good place to do that. One of those places is above the borough and that property that essentially all that's being happened to is people are cutting its grass. Okay? We think we'd like to do more with that. We'd like to work with you to see if we could affect something that way, where we could use that piece of property again as a great piece, as a place where people can plant vegetables, they can have their gardens. Okay? They would pay for that, they would rent it, and you would realize that amount, okay, which would be the renting of those garden plots. Right now, it's not being used, okay? Other places like the bottom plateau of the pool is not being used, maybe we could do something there as well. What we'd like to do, and what they're talking about, is trying to make some better utilization of the property that we have, that you have, but frankly, right now, it's just an overhead that you're cutting, all you're doing is cutting the grass. Lastly, people have asked me, again, this was that Saturday I was cleaning, we were picking up paper. They're asking me, so what's going to happen with the borough? What's the plans? What's the philosophy? Where are we going? What are they going to do with the police? Are our taxes going to be raised? We understand the fire department needs staff. What happens if they don't find it? There's a lot of questions. So I don't have the answer to those questions, or should I? Okay, that's the job of the council. I would strongly recommend that maybe within the next 3 months, you think about holding a town hall, with council, and not essentially while listening to what the borough residents always say is always important. But frankly, I'd like to hear what the plan is, what the strategy is for the borough. Where are we going? Okay? What happens if the police raise the rates incredibly that we can't support it? What happens if you don't have a fire department? They just decide not to volunteer. What happens with St. Luke's? Okay? If they buy up another quarter mile tract of land in taxes. These are questions that I think are honest questions. They were asked to me. Frankly, I don't have the answers to them. But hopefully we can see some sights and visions of what you have, and maybe you can help us out with that. Now, a lot of you I asked to come out today, and Jason did. Are you generally here for the pool? If not, if you're in agreement with me, I'd ask you to please stand, okay? And maybe you can give an idea of what we're doing here and how we're doing it. And if anybody has anything to add, that's all I have. Norm, you any questions? I'm happy to answer.
First of all, before I forget, I want to, on behalf of the council, on behalf of the Borough of Fountain Hill, I want to thank you for the hard work you've done. Your cleanup was absolutely spectacular at the park. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but I intended to be there. We do appreciate it. We're amazed that you've gone so far so fast. It's not easy. And we do want to thank you. We want to thank your members of the coalition, the officers, the board of directors for their hard work. I can answer some of your questions. I don't remember. I took some notes. The tract of land above the pool, the master plan is now 23 or 24 years old, but that was originally intended to be the community building that you envision. It's never been built. I think it was the last phase of it all. And the estimated cost back then was $3 million, not counting the cost of the land. Mr. Bronco, when he was here, he visualized that piece of property being the basin the Stormwater Commission needs to put somewhere in the borough. I believe Ms. Johnson talked about a community garden up there once upon a time.
Yeah, the problem that we had is that with all of the old vehicles that were on that property for so long, there was questions about the validity and the viability of the soil, so we talked about doing some soil testing to ensure that it is actually viable for a garden, but yes, that's in my plan, that's what I would like to see happen.
So it's been discussed. Now, before I forget, do you have another meeting planned yet this year? And if so, when?
I hope to have a meeting planned for mid-December. That's probably going to be in conjunction with, what we plan to do is we're gonna do some Christmas caroling in the borough. And, after the meeting, we'll be doing the meeting, and then we'll get people to do some caroling with us. So that'll be probably mid-December, so it's partially, some work and partially some meetings and partially some celebrations.
With regard to the graffiti ordinance, there's no ordinance that I'm aware of. I think you run into some First Amendment issues, perhaps. What is offensive to some might be free speech to others.
There's enforcement action underway. So in addition to trying to facilitate the abatement of the issue, which is why we tried to put the owner in touch with Mr. Zofko, because obviously that's the goal of code enforcement, is to abate the issues. There is also an enforcement process underway with that property that hopefully will correct, and there are plans in for the redevelopment of that property also underway.
And again, I'm not going to address all of your points, but with regard to your being volunteers / borough employees on a pro tem basis, there might be some workers' comp issues there, but I would have to ask the solicitor to look into that to see if it can be done to avoid some otherwise liability issues for us. But again, Mike, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Does anybody else on council have any questions or some comments for Mr. Zofko?
The only other comment that I had is in relation to the employment issue is if not part-time employees, then independent contractors, where they'll be required to maintain their own insurance. If we could look into that kind of issue as well.
Yeah, I'd be looking into all of that. Just generally with regards to just employment and independent contractors, as long as the borough directs and controls their work, they're not independent contractors or employees, whether or not they're anything else that way.
So we'll adjust, okay? So the idea is to fix it, okay? Let us know what we would need to do that. If it comes to, insurance and waivers, these people aren't gonna do it, okay? But we all know that, okay? So let's see what we can do to try to make it happen. How many are there? Not many of us, but some of us.
Well, I do know when the Exchange Club ran the snack bar, they were de facto employees of the borough to cover the workers' comp. So I believe it can be done.
Okay.
All right, now, it's not my intention to deny anybody the right to speak, but I would ask you not to repeat what Mr. Zofko repeated. Does anybody have something new or something that Mr. Zofko hasn't said? I see Mr. Langdon's hand. I'll address him first. Would you please stand, give us your name
Mike
and your address?
Langton, Broadway, Mount Hill Fire Police. I couldn't hear,
Or do you want to come up to the mic?
I couldn't hear half of what you said, but I heard fire department, and I'd be glad to,
Mike, can you,
questions you have on that.
Mike, this is being streamed, so could you please use the mic?
If you have, anybody has any questions or concerns about fire, I heard fire department mentioned a couple of times.
Can I repeat what I said?
Sure.
What I said was, people want to know what the plans are, in case something like volunteerism goes down.
Urban and volunteers since 1905.
No, I understand.
Just had 32 applications come in.
Hi,
They're worried about it. It's not
Mr. Langdon, these were simple concerns that were addressed to Mr. Zofko.
There's no intention.
There's no-
to stop and be volunteer.
And I understand the numbers are up, and that's encouraging. And Mr. Zofko, we got a report, I believe it was last month, the numbers were up.
Great.
The volunteers,
We
so.
had 30 people, we don't know why, but like 30 people applied.
Yeah, we've been asking for volunteers for the last several months, Mr.
We just put signs up, put signs up around the borough.
I know
And
there
what
are.
the problem is, they're juniors.
Well, that's a
You're gonna
problem.
go For interior firefighting, it's
You have to be
a
18.
lot of training. What we're doing now, they just started a week ago, is we're manning the station. Never been done before. We have people sleeping over and manning the station. It's hard to get drivers, but we're there.
All right.
When the alarm goes off.
All right, I think we can address some of these issues in the town hall meeting that Mr. Zofko suggested that we have, and we can address, where we can answer these questions in front of a broader audience.
If anybody has any questions about the fire department, I'm happy to answer.
All right, you're being podcast, you're being streamed, you're being podcast, so you may get a phone call or two. Now, this young lady had her hand up. I'm gonna ask you, go over to the mic, and we need your name and address, please.
Thank you, sir. My name is
And
Mary.
the mic can move. There you go. There you go.
I'm handicapped, I'm sure. My name is Damaris Roche. I live on 1024 Seneca. And thank you all so much, especially the lady over there with the glasses. And I was coming out of work, second job, and was like she was coming over for the pool. I lived in Fountain Hill for probably 7 years. I owned a home on the south side of Bethlehem. Fountain Hill was always looked at in a different way. And I am so sorry, but I have to express myself. I am so for the pool. I got divorced 20 years ago, came to Fountain Hill, been there 7 years, have a wonderful landlord, and that had a mom that was there. And I feel that the police had a big impact on that. I am a transplant from New York City who have 3 sons that moved over, a Moravian graduate, schizophrenic, who takes care of children. I also have one who goes to a Christian college, I'm not bragging. I have another one that works for Sioka, 24 years old, finance manager. I am a minority, obviously. But I have to tell you that I really want this pool open. But I do not want it without police there. I've seen recently the police, and I've gotten myself in trouble, honestly. But you know what, it turned my own life around because I moved from a different state to give a different chance, and it has gotten there. So I guess what I want to ask is to please, yes, Fountain Hill Pool should open. I've been 6 years after a 20-year marriage, and I did not want to go to Fountain Hill Pool, even though I am proud to say that a lot of people have had, keep your town what it is. And yes, open the pools, yes, stand up, yes, absolutely. But please don't stand down we need this. It's opening, there's more people, people are coming for different reasons. And I think that we should all get together and make the right decisions. There's certain decisions that I cannot. As I hear you guys speaking, I have no idea from it. If my sons were here, they probably could go toe-to-toe in every kind of which way, okay? But I can tell you for myself, I was so glad when the lady over there said, I was coming out of work, I'm in scrubs, and I'm saying 2 jobs, you know, and the landlord that I have, it was his mom's, and please do not let Fountain Hill go. Like, stand in your way, and let's get together, because it made a difference in my life. Not everybody comes that way, but please, be on alert, because honestly, 6 years after being married for 20 years, 3 kids, 2 college graduates, 1 did not want to go to school, but is a Sioka finance manager that I'm very proud of. It took Pennsylvania to have restrictions and regulations. And Fountain Hill is somewhere that I'm proud of, just because of where it comes from. So please do not take nothing away from it. Please, we need police. We do, and I'm sorry, but we do. We need that, and I see less and less. And we do need stand up. I don't see him. Thank you,
Oh, you're welcome.
but we need both
Thank you.
to work together. we need both to work together because you can stand, and if we don't have this part, it's not gonna do a reason for neither one of us. Let's do it together because honestly, I am a part of that. And I hope that Fountain Hill pool opens, but for the past few years, when I was a single parent, like divorced, I didn't wanna go anymore because I didn't see the police interaction. It wasn't about the lifeguards. I lived in Florida all my life. I knew how to swim. I didn't like what was happening. So let's, in my opinion, balance it. Let's balance it. Let's make sure not only that we have opportunity, but that there's safety as well, because we are not all coming in the same form. And I'm sorry, but thank you for letting me speak. And had I not met this lady, honestly, I would not be here either. I have an amazing landlord that actually his mom had it, his grandmother. Fountain Hill is a special place, and let's keep it that way, and it takes a little bit of both of us, honestly, because it made a difference in my life. So, that's it, sorry, I usually don't speak this way, but I wanted to ask you that, please, if you open the pool, because God knows, every year I wanted to, but it wasn't because I was restricted, it was because I was afraid. And then the other way. So maybe that's the answer. And I'm glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
Well, let me say this. First of all, thank you for being a resident of the borough. Second of all, we have no intentions of defunding the police at all. They will be with us for a very long time to come.
I hope so.
We
because
do not
that's-
have the
that's actually-
resources, however, to put a full-time police officer in the pool when it's open. However, we have instructed the chief of police in the past to make sure an officer stops by occasionally, walks around, to make sure that the people know we do have a police department and they can't just do anything.
Right. I don't think one should go without the other. If that's not offered, where there is a police officer, I don't know the fundings, I don't know any of that, but there's a growing population that you don't have to be a genius to understand. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, we're growing. And honestly, I feel bad for the police officers, even though, you know, I get it to a degree. There's bad apples and everything. I think it takes two. And thank you guys, honestly, all, for standing on both sides and coming together for people like myself. Maybe I can actually enjoy Fountain Hill Pool someday and not worry about neither way. So,
Well, that'll be on the topic of discussion in about a half an hour, maybe a
all
little
right,
sooner.
thank you. I appreciate it. I normally don't do this, but thank you.
Thank you very much for coming out. Anybody else with something new or that has not been said who wishes to address the council? Sir, again, your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Sean Zarelli. I'm on 1201 Delaware. I just wanted to address the council. So I've been a Fountain Hill resident for almost 5 years now. I have a young family, 2-year-old daughter. I just wanted to address the council, maybe they're not aware, or if they haven't noticed, and maybe some of the residents haven't noticed, or if they have noticed. Trick or treat did just go on this last week. I think it was a big success. I just want to make a personal note that I think it was the most successful trick or treat outing in my 5 years I've been here. First time I ever ran out of candy, so that's good.
Nice.
I've noticed more decorations. I noticed we're talking about the holiday decorating contest that we do every year. So what I think we're starting to see, that the council may not be aware of, is a kind of a rejuvenation of younger families coming into the council and then looking for that sense of community. So I think the pool, just to kind of reiterate, is a good chance to kind of help bring that community and solidify it, be a nice keystone to the community, kind of bring it all together. I do look forward to the Christmas decorations and stuff. I try and do my part. Halloween not so much, but it was pretty impressive this year with some of the houses. And like I said, it was a really good outing. With Mr. Zafka talking about Carolyn, I think that's another great opportunity for the borough to kind of bring that sense of community. And I think you guys are all aware, whether you've had families, raised families, starting new families, know people that are moving in with families that were, I think there is a genuine resurgence of community starting to come to Fountain Hill.
Yes.
just another like anecdotal piece of evidence. I have a neighbor who's been in the borough for 20 years, raised a daughter, and he said there was a moment in time where it's been what we would call dead as far as kids out playing and stuff. So we go to the park, near the pool, and it's busy. So I think you're really starting to see a resurgence of young families to the borough, and hope the council would use that in their decision making to kind of find a way to make the pool work.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I love it.
And I live at 1218, so we're virtually neighbors. All right, anybody else wish to address council? Come up to the mic, please, and again, your name and address.
I want to know if you gave him candy since you're his neighbor.
I know.
Hi everyone, my name is Christina Cardinal. I live at 916 Oshland Street. I did not grow up in Falmouth. I grew up in Nazareth, but I would like to talk to you all about what it was like growing up at a pool for me. So I lived 2 blocks from the Nazareth pool. My family spent every day there in the summer. Thankfully, my dad was a school teacher, so we had that ability. But even as we grew up and our parents weren't necessarily coming with us, my sister and I were there from 12 till, well, they were gonna put the sharks in the pool. But, 6 or 7, whatever time everybody else started to file out. It is where we had our best summer memories. It's where we played with our friends. It's where we grew up. It mattered a lot to our community. We all had our special spots. It was a place that was safe for us. We weren't getting in trouble. We weren't sitting in front of TVs and playing video games. We were getting exercise and fresh air and sunlight. It was so important for our mental health. It was what we looked forward to most in the summer. I currently work with kids in the Wilson School District, and we used to close their pool with no plans to reopen it. Those kids don't have access to a pool. Their options are to go to Easton's 2 pools, and because of transportation issues, for a lot of them, that's not an option. The young preteens, they can't just go there even while their parents are at work. They are stuck at home, and they are wandering the streets, shooting people with orbeez, and just doing whatever, creating chaos, because they don't have somewhere to go where they can be positive and safe. The pool was such a wonderful place for me and for my family that as a teenager, I did grow up and become a lifeguard as soon as I could. It was an incredible job for me to have. It's well paying, it was respectable, and it was something that had perfect hours for a kid in the summer because I could still have my evenings free and I didn't have to wake up too early. So it was wonderful as a teenager, and it's actually what I did for my work study while I was in college as well. So it helped me make it through college because it helped me be able to have some money to pay for the things that I needed. None of that would have been possible if I had grown up at my pool. This is not something that I think we should take for granted. It is about the mental health, the physical health of our community. It is something that is so very much needed that closing it would be an absolute tragedy to the kids in our community, and I think it's a disservice to them. I know that it costs a lot to repair these pools. I'm not pretending that it doesn't. I'm just saying the long-term cost of repairing our community when our kids have nowhere to go, nothing to do, and are just going to create chaos is going to be a lot more of an investment in the future. And I think we should just try to be really proactive and take care of our citizens by offering that for them. So, yeah, I just really am a pool rat.
Thank you very much. All right, again, anybody else wish to address council that with something that hasn't already been said? Seeing and hearing none, we're going to close the privilege of the floor portion of the meeting and turn over to the mayor's report. Mr. Johnson.
I have nothing this month, but I do want to thank the police and the fire department and the community really for us, the gentleman was saying, a successful trick-or-treat on Friday night.
And that's part of my report also, Mr. Johnson. All right, Borough Manager's report, Broadway project updates. And then I have a question about it.
You're gonna miss this once we're done. So the TASA grant, which is the pedestrian crossing upgrade that you may have seen the new handicap ramps put in at Broadway in Delaware. The posts are up for the new blinking pedestrian crossing signs. We are waiting on a couple pieces of back-ordered equipment. I know, shocking supply chain issues. That stuff should be here this week. Then the contractor will be back out to finish that project and remove the old flashing lights. In addition to, while we're talking about pedestrian crossings, we also ordered neon green pedestrian signs for the 2 crosswalks on Delaware as well. And the new ones for Broadway and Delaware will also be neon green. So hopefully with that and flashing lights, it'll be a nice upgrade for there. Our curb and sidewalk project, their pre-construction meeting was last month. They are looking to start this month and work through the winter. Both our contractor doing the curb and sidewalk, and then PennDOT's contractor will be in to do the ADA handicap ramps at each of the corners within the project scope. And then PennDOT is looking still at a late spring, early summer mill and overlay to complete all of the road work on Broadway, hopefully for the foreseeable future.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Bretz about that? You answered the one that I had. Anybody else? Any questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. What's going on with the CDBG grant?
You signed it earlier this evening. We received the official grant agreement for the full amount of $237,000 for the next 2 pieces of Jeter Avenue reconstruction. The original resolution also, easy for me to say, authorized Mr. Blatt and myself as the signers, so we didn't need to do another resolution. So the agreement is signed. We'll return to the county, and Executive Armstrong will fully execute that, and we'll see that money next year and get that work done.
Always good news. Anybody have any questions on that? Seeing and hearing none. The holiday decorating contest, I would assume we're gonna have it, Ms. Johnson?
Actually, this is Eric. Not
Okay.
familiar.
So Ms. Spadesha reached out
Oh, okay.
and inquired exactly that question. So that's why I put it on the agenda.
That was run by the
so
recreation
then
department in the
yes,
past. That's why I asked you.
If the question is, do we want to do it? My answer is yes.
All right, I don't want to be the Grinch, but as I remember, there was a controversy a couple of years ago about where the funds to pay the winners would come from.
Well, we took care of that last year.
Okay, is that going to be taken care of again?
Yep, it's already budgeted.
All right, so we are going to have it, Mrs. Spadesha, if you're listening, you can decorate.
She needs a co-judge, so I nominate the mayor.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah, there you go. Somehow she was trying to rope me in, and I'm like, no, it's the mayor's job.
All right. All right, any other items of new business, keeping in mind we can only bring up certain things under the sunshine law? Anything else? Hearing none, we're gonna move on. Resolution for final passage, resolution number 2022-28. I believe that's the tax ordinance, resolution?
Correct. So it is Act 57, which the governor signed into law. It amends the local tax law, providing for new homeowners to receive a waiver from the property tax penalty charges if they do not receive a bill notice within their first year of owning a property. Additionally, the act provides the tax collectors will be not personally liable if found to be acting in good faith. So essentially, the governor says we have to pass this, and this resolution will do that.
It was handed out to you at the October 19th meeting. We had a chance to look at it over the last 2.5 weeks or so. Any questions about it? Oh, I see Mr. Ruff has now joined us. May the record reflect he is now here. All right. Are there any questions on Resolution 2022-28? It doesn't absolve the property owner from paying the base tax, just the 10% penalty, I believe.
Correct.
All right. Do I have entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2022-28? Mr. Trotter, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Johnson? Okay. Are there any questions? Yeah, hearing none. Mr. Trable?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. Jordan?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Roof?
Yes.
Mr. Trotter?
Yes.
I vote yes. The resolution's passed. Next item of business is ordinance number 871 to amend our handicap ordinance. You've done all your due diligence. It's done.
Correct, sir. The application was received and complete, and this was advertised for the required period in the newspaper. We've received no comments and no objections.
Mr. Corey and the chief, were there any problems that you could see? No and no? Okay. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 871?
So
That would be Ms. Johnson. Is there a second?
Ms. Jordan.
Ms. Jordan, I'm sorry. And, Mr. Trable, any questions on the ordinance? It's to approve a handicap spot on 918 North Bergen Street. Hearing none, Mr. Trable?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Roof?
Yes.
Mr. Trotter?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Pull it up. Ordinance number 872, the stormwater ordinance. Now, this is technical details to reflect the amendments.
Correct, so it's actually a repealing of the previous ordinance number 729 in its entirety and replacing it with 872, which is to comply with new DEP mandates, LVPC recommendations, and best management practices as drafted by our borough engineer. This was that 40-some page document you all had electronically. It has again been advertised. We've received no comments or requests to view. So tonight is available for final passage, so we are compliant with the new rules and regulations.
All right, this is something that we more or less have to do. Are there any questions, however? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 872?
So,
Again, I'm going to give that one to Mr. Trable. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Johnson, are there one last shot for questions? Hearing none, Mr. Trable? Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. Jordan?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Roof?
Yes.
Mr. Trotter?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Ordinance 872 is passed. There are no motions. All right, we're coming to the main event, the pool. As you may remember, and I'm going to summarize this briefly, there was a motion to close the pool permanently that passed last year. I believe the vote was either 5-2, I think it was 5-2. 6-1? 3-2. All right, 3-2. Council since reconsidered the issue and retracted that motion to close the pool permanently. Mr. Zofko with his coalition has worked hard. You've heard the report tonight, the summary of the report tonight. The issues tonight, as I see it, are two. We have two options. Option one, do we want to work forward to opening the pool for 2023? The staffing issues, we had staffing issues and we had the equipment issues. And at the last budget meeting, I asked Mr. Corey, he said that a meeting had to be, or a decision had to be made as quickly as possible, and he strongly recommended it be made tonight. The other issue is, do we want to continue to maintain status quo and just do what is necessary to keep the pool from deteriorating, like we did last summer, and then try to open it and try to get everything in place for an opening in 2024. You've heard the comments tonight from Mr. Zofko. You've heard the comments tonight from the citizens who chose to speak. Does anybody have any discussion or any comments they wish to make?
I mean, you know my opinion is to have the pool open.
That was my position also, Ms. Johnson.
And Mr. Zofko and I also spoke. I'm not sure if I'm counted in his 104, but I did tell him I would be recertifying, so I'd be available to him to help assist with some staffing, but not be full-time.
That's fine.
That's great. So we have 5, okay. Again, we can work out the details later in terms of whether we want to go with the YMCA or hire our own staff or.
I think we can determine that later, but it does need to be part of the discussion as soon as the new council comes in January, if not prior, because we don't want to be the last to enter the employment pool if that's the way we decide to go.
Well, the new council in January will be the existing council we have now. It's next year's the election.
Right, but I'm just saying as the new year begins.
All right. Are there any other comments? Mr. Trevor, do you have any comments? Do you have any comments on the pool, whether you want to reopen it or maintain status quo? Ms. Graham, do you have any comments?
I think it should be reopened. I didn't agree with the previous vote, and I still don't agree with the previous vote.
Ms. Jordan, do you have any questions or comments? I know you're the one that has the deepest attached, I think the deepest attachment, because it goes back the furthest. You said you were there on
Yes.
opening day.
I was there on opening day,
As
1959.
a little girl.
As a little girl, I spent my entire teenage years there, so I'm attached to it probably more than anybody here.
Mr. Ruff, do you have any comments?
I do not.
Mr. Trotter, do you have any comments?
I will say this, I'm impressed with what Mr. Zosco talked about as far as the repairs that they feel that they can bring about. I'm impressed with that concept, that assist us with the cost that's involved. So, to me, that's a plus.
My 6-year-old granddaughter was very upset the pool was not open this past year. She had enjoyed it prior 2 years or 3 years, I believe. We didn't get her to the Hellertown pool for reasons that are not important, but she was upset that the pool was not open. So I'm obviously in favor of it. The pool where I grew up is now a parking lot. They closed it, they filled it in, and they paved it. Every time I go to my old hometown, I see it, and I'm saddened by it all, because I think that's one of the things. It's never intended to be a money maker. It's a quality of life issue.
I'd like to just add a few more things. First of all, I'm really impressed with the coalition and everything that it's accomplished in such a short period of time. I just would like to maybe just put it on the record that you have to keep an eye on the practical cost of all of this. And I know that you have a lot of people who are invested in it and that they're dedicated to it, but you have to always, and I know you do, Mr. Zofko, because you've been sitting, you sat up here, so you know what it is to sit up here and really understand that the people want something wonderful, but at the same time, look at the practical side of it too. And if it gets to a point where it's not feasible, I think we need you to understand that if it ever gets to that point where maybe the dreams aren't going to come true, that you understand that it is never anything that we wanted to do against the residents. It's just something that if we can't sustain it, we'll just have to change the dream a little bit. I mean, the interest and the involvement of the coalition is really wonderful. And there's so many wonderful things you can do and will do and are doing. But I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind, that there's always that practical issue of if the donor falls through or if something happens where it can't work. It's never anything where council wanted to do anything against the residents or against the dream. It just has to stay in everybody's mind.
I understand that.
Right. And Mr. Corey had his hand up.
I just need to clear something up for Mr. Zoppo in regards to the caulking issue. I think the phase 1 of the caulking was about $30,000. I think the total cost was over $70,000 or $80,000 to caulk that pool. Just
It's even better.
All right, and Mr. Zofko, if we do choose to open the pool, I don't know if it's going to be enclosed this year. In fact, that might be one of your long-term goals. I know you've mentioned it.
What's that?
To make it an indoor year-round pool. I think that was one of your long-term goals, but it's not going to happen this year. All right. Judging from the comments I've heard from council, is there a motion to open the pool for 2023 with the intention of selling passes and hiring guards?
I will make that motion.
Ms. Johnson, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Graham, our last chance for comments before a vote. Yay or nay before a vote? Hearing none. Mr. Trable?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. Jordan?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Roof?
No.
Mr. Trotter?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We'll try to make my granddaughter happy for 2023. We're going to go forward with the pool and attempt to open it this year. All right, I believe that covers the poll. Budget 2023 for old business. First of all, there is no tax increase contemplated. There is no fee increase contemplated for the cost of sewer or garbage. We have worked hard the last couple of weeks. We had meetings on the 26th and November 2nd. If you weren't here in person, they were streamed, and I believe they're podcasts, so you can go back and watch them. Now, with regard to the decision we just made, what adjustments, if any, do we need to make for the pool?
So the question there is the funds were carried over last year to cover what we forecasted as operating costs. In addition to that, there was $50,000 set aside above and beyond for repairs.
Which
Now,
I'm,
clearly, as
which I'm
Mr.
sure
Corey,
the costs have gone up.
well, and clearly, as Mr. Corey alluded to, that's gonna, like, a project over the $25,000, if we were to go out to bid with it, would need to be competitively bid, and it would need to be paid with prevailing wage. So that is a lengthy process to go through. So I will tell you, based on that typical process, the caulking of the pool deck as a whole will not get done before 2023 is open. So what we would do with the $50,000 is triage what needs to be done of the smaller projects, what can be done in-house, and if we can come to a solution with using, some assistance from the coalition, what we can do there to stretch the dollars. But I would say the big go out to bid projects would be taken off the table. That said, that caulking is, when I initially presented this in December, is like a 2 to 3 year must do, but it's not a, we need to do this to open the pool tomorrow. There's some safety issues we need to address, but we can do that within the scope of that budget. I would recommend leaving that line item the same way, allowing us to put the $250,000 we propose into capital reserves for future projects, and let the interest build on that account, and then if we need to go the bid route down the road, we've got the capital in reserves if council so chooses to use that. But right now, we'll let our money work for us and yield some interest on it and grow that capital reserve. So in short, to plan to open the pool this year based on the best cost estimates we can have, given that we can't just keep having folks come in and give us estimates for work that we're not doing. So we're just gonna have to go and we factored in a reasonable amount. And also, we haven't opened the pool for 2 years, so we went off costs 2 years ago for operating costs. So there may need to be some money moved from unappropriated balance, but right now I'm comfortable leaving it where it's at, and putting that money in capital reserve, and we don't need to change those line items. And should something change, we'll adapt and do what we did this year.
And that's still without a tax increase, correct?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, it's still the flat budget that we all just reviewed. Ultimately, based on the discussion tonight, my recommendation would be to not change anything. We'll make that $50,000 go as far as we can. We'll make all the effort we can to make the pool successful this year. And that'll give us an idea at the end of the year that we can look at for what it actually cost us and where we need to go if it's a success and it works out, where we need to go for future capital expenditures and add it to our 3-year capital plan.
All right, do we need the budget meeting on the 16th, in your opinion?
Unless anyone from council has anything based on their review after the meeting of the documents, the budget from the administration standpoint is unchanged based on tonight's meeting. So I have nothing else to present at that meeting, so I will leave that up to all of you. We could still have that meeting and approve the budget, the preliminary budget that night, and still have our 10-day advertising window to approve the first meeting in December, or someone could make a motion tonight if they so choose, and we could advertise the budget starting this week.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, don't we have a council meeting on the 16th, an hour later? Can't we approve the budget then?
Oh, we could, or we
Or
could
do you
do
want
it.
to do it tonight?
Well, if no one has any changes, if we do it tonight, I get it in the paper sooner, so.
All right, and that doesn't violate the sunshine ordinance? I guess it doesn't, because it's an agenda item.
No,
Okay,
yes.
perfect. Do we want to adopt the budget tonight, or do we want to wait for 2 more weeks or 10 more days?
My opinion is, as there's no fundamental change, we might as well do it tonight.
All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the budget as presented over the last 2 weeks.
So moved.
Ms. Johnson, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Trotter, any questions? You've all had it to study? Hearing none, Mr. Trable,
Yes.
Ms. Graham,
Yes.
Ms. Jordan,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Roof,
I'm gonna abstain.
Mr. Trotter.
Yes.
Mr. Blatt says yes. Budget is approved. That's about as early as I could ever remember.
I told you, I'm all about making government efficient. It's just a
So
lifetime
am
goal.
I.
It's just a lifetime goal. We'll never get there, but.
So am I, believe me. All right, Council President's report. I too would like to comment on the success of the trick or treat night. I thought it went extremely well. I want to thank the firefighters and the police for having their table down at the fire department in the emergency responder area, and that added a certain degree of success to the night. Chief, would you pass on our appreciation, please? I see Mr. Langdon left. Anybody from the fire department here? I think they had a call. Okay, then we will pass that on at an appropriate time. The tree lighting ceremony is December 4th. It's another one of the many things that I think makes Fountain Hill a very special place to live. Ms. Johnson, is that going to be at 4 or 4:30?
Yes, at 4 because
At
the
4.
video.
Oh, that's right, the
middle
school.
students walk.
Yeah, we wanted it a little later, so it was a little darker when the tree was lit, but the needs of the band take control. No, it's the middle school.
It's the middle school.
sorry with him.
So it's always been the middle school.
They're having a
And
side
in
conversation
case you-
about hot dogs.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. And in case you don't know where it is, it used to be up at the Jeter Triangle. It's not been there for the last couple of years. It's right across the parking lot, across the street from the firehouse. And I have reason to believe for the children, there's going to be a very special guest going to join us that day.
I'm not that special.
No.
Ms. Johnson, I'll get with you this week then, now that I'm not dying, and we'll start the planning process and make the notifications then.
Although I don't want to steal Mr. Trable's thunder, I would also want to note that the firefighters will once again be selling trees this season. I believe it'll start on what's commonly referred to as Black Friday, what I still like to refer to as the day after Thanksgiving. It'll be up at the pole. They sold out very quickly last year. I think they were good. They were done in 2 weeks. So if you want a tree, and I didn't get one last year, I tarried too long, but when I was buying them, they were quality trees, and they're reasonably priced. I would urge you to get up there and check it out. Last but certainly not least, tomorrow is election day. We've all been inundated with commercials, mailings, radios, this, that, and the other thing. Tomorrow is your turn to, your voice to say who's going to represent you in the State House for the next 4 years, who's going to represent us in Washington for the next 2 years, who's going to represent us in the state legislature for the next 2 or 4 years. And last but certainly not least, who's going to represent us down at the Senate for the next 6 years. I urge you to get out and vote. 2 of the 3 polling places in the borough are, again, the firehouse, which is right across the way. The 3rd polling place is what is now the Center of Joy Church, I believe. And that is through the back door. There's parking there. You can walk right in, walk right out. There's no ADA issues at all. I expect a high voter turnout, and I hope everybody who's eligible to vote does show up to vote. It's very, very important. That's my report. Solicitors report, Mr. Berger.
Sure, just 2 quick things. One, to provide an update. We've started to move on some of those delinquent taxpayers to take those to sale. It's a longer process under the Rensselaer Real Estate Sale Tax Law. But we're doing that, so we have 3 very delinquent ones that we're moving forward and taking those to sale if we have to, unfortunately. The other one is Attorney Piparato was here last week on the text amendment. He did submit an application for a text amendment later on. We're currently reviewing it, and after I have the opportunity to review it, we'll circulate it with council so they have the opportunity to look at it as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, committee reports. Finance, Mr. Trotter.
Okay, please go to your list of expenditures from the Borough
Is that you, Ms. Jordan? All right, and any questions on any of the vouchers? Hearing none, Mr. Trable?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. Jordan?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Ruff?
Yes.
Mr. Trotter?
Yes.
I say yes, pay the bills. Thank you, Mr. Trotter. Public Works, Ms. Jordan.
I'll turn it over to Mr. Dwyer.
So leaf season is in full swing. If the residents could help us get it done, wrapped up pretty early, get your leaves out to the curb, and we'll be around to pick them up.
Thank you. Anything else? Anything else from Mr. Corey?
No, sir.
Perfect. Police, Chief, how did the drug take-back program work?
We got about 40 pounds.
That's
So between us
a
and
very
St.
good
Louis.
number.
Yeah. So
Anything
we're
else?
successful. No, that's about it.
Okay. House and Ordinance, Mr. Ruff.
We did not meet.
Fire, Mr. Trable.
I haven't received a regular fire report, but, as Mr. Langman said, we have increased our membership by approximately 30 people so far. We will be selling Christmas trees and we ordered extra, so hopefully this year we don't run out. And, the, haunted house, for Halloween was a success.
I know, I stopped by. Thank you, Mr. Trable. Recreation, Ms. Johnson.
Nothing to add in addition to what's already been discussed with the tree lighting and the decorations. We will get a date out for the date of the
Judging.
the judging. Thank you. Words. And then again with the pool opening, I'm really excited for that. The tree lighting on December 4th. And again, thank you for the police department and the fire department for their very, very successful and wonderful family events with the haunted Halloween and maintaining their trunk or treat, I guess it was. Table and treat.
No, I thought it was very nice. All right, Ms. Graham, Health and Sanitation.
No report this week.
Okay, Mr. Trotter, anything going on with personnel?
No meeting.
Okay, two of my favorite words, no report. Special or select committees, Mr. Rock, what's going on with the library? Anything?
The very successful trunk or treat, and that's about it.
Mr. Patricio, anything going on at the hospital? I don't see a firefighter here, so they're out in the call. Chief, is there anything you wish to say that you haven't already said?
No, we're winding down for the holidays.
Okay. All right, I guess that covered. Did I miss any? Hearing none. Privilege of the floor. Anybody wish to address council on any item whatsoever? Hearing and seeing none. Before I request an adjournment, I want to remind everybody our next meeting is November the 16th. That will be 7 o'clock here at Borough Hall. You're all welcome to come out and attend. If you can't make it in person, it'll be streamed on the, I know it's the Facebook page, and it's also going to be podcast. If you can't listen to it live, you can certainly listen to it at your convenience. No other business, no executive session, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
That would be Ms. Johnson and Mr. Trable. We'll have a standing vote. Again, thank you for coming out. There's been very few people other than my wife the last several meetings. It's refreshing to see faces. Thank you.